Alright guys, back at it, making videos. There was a live stream last night, in case any of you missed it. I might actually unlist it. It was unlisted, but I might list it. So, yeah, check the channel out for that. That happened last night. It's a good live stream. There was only a few of us, but yeah. Getting back into the feel of live streaming. I might do it every Sunday night. Sunday night, Monday morning, Australian time. So, yeah, it'll be Sunday morning for you guys, or most of you guys anyway. Let's jump into it, because holy dooly, the Democratic Party has jumped the shark. Trump has released the transcript regarding Ukraine. It's a nothing burger. It really is a nothing burger. But let's jump into it. We have the full transcript here, by the way. So, FYI, some of the transcript that's going around is not the full one. The mainstream media is even going to the point, I've heard reports of them cutting parts out to try and make it seem like it's worse than it really is. But let's jump into it. So, the president, congratulations on a great victory. Oh, hang on, that's the Russian one. Sorry, my bad. My wrong accent. Watched from the United States. You did a terrific job. I don't know why I keep speaking Russian, but anyway. You came from way behind, somebody who wasn't given much of a chance. You ended up winning easily. It's fantastic achievement. Congratulations. The Ukraine president. You're absolutely right, Mr. President. We did win big. We won, and we worked hard for this. We worked a lot. But I'd like to confess to you that I have an opportunity to learn from you. We used quite a few of your skills and knowledge, that we were able to use it as an example for our elections. And yes, it's true that these things were unique elections. We were in a unique situation that were able to achieve a unique success. I'm able to tell you the following. The first time you called me, I was able to congratulate me when I won my presidential election. The second time you are calling me when my party won the primary election. I think we should run more often so I get to call you more often and we can talk over the phone more often. Right? So far, this sounds like me and my mate on a phone having a chat. Let us keep going. President Trump laughs. That's a very good idea. I think your country is very happy about that. The president from the Ukraine. Well, yes, to tell you the truth, we are trying to work hard because we want to drain the swamp here in our own country. We brought in many new people, but not all politicians. Not the typical politicians, because we want to have new format and new type of government. That you are the great teacher for us, and in that. So when he's talking about draining the swamp, there is a lot of corruption in regards to Ukraine, especially in the past. He's trying to get rid of that out of the government and trying to bring the government back to a somewhat honourable system, which is what Trump also wants. President Trump responds, well, it's very nice for you to say that. I will say that we'll do a lot for Ukraine. We spend a lot of effort and a lot of time, much more than Europe countries are doing, and they should be helping you a lot more than they are. Germany does almost nothing for you. All they do is talk, and I think there's something that they should really ask them about. When I was speaking to Angela Merkel, she talks Ukraine, but she doesn't do anything. A lot of the European countries are the same way, so I think it's something that you have to want to look into, but United States has been very, very good to Ukraine. I wouldn't say that it's a reciprocal necessarily, because things are happening that are not good, but the United States has been very, very good to Ukraine. So the Ukrainian president responds, yes, you are absolutely right. Not only 100%, but an actual 1000%. I can tell you the following. I did talk to Angela Merkel and I did meet with her. I also met and talked with Macron, and I told them that they were not doing quite as much as they need to be doing on the issue with these sanctions. They are not enforcing the sanctions. They are not working as much as they should work for Ukraine. It turns out that even through logic, the European Union should be our biggest partner. But technically, the United States is a much bigger partner, and the European Union. And I'm very grateful for you, because the United States is doing quite a lot for the Ukraine. Much more than European Union, especially when we are talking about sanctions against the Russian Federation. I would also like to thank you for the great support in the area of defense. We are ready to continue to cooperate for the next step specifically and almost ready to buy more javelins from the United States for defense purposes. It's funny, when I heard of javelins, I thought of Star Citizen. I don't think it's that javelins they're selling, because if it is, Trump would like one. I think javelins is a code word for missiles, I think. But anyway, let's keep going. I would like to do this. I would like to do this favor, though, because our country has been through a lot and Ukraine knows a lot about it. I would like to find out what happened with this whole situation with Ukraine. They say CrowdStrike. That's important. I guess you have one of those wealthy people, the server. They say Ukraine has it. There are a lot of things that went on. The whole situation. I think you're surrounding yourself with some of the same people. I would like to have Attorney General call you for your people, and I would like to get to the bottom of it. As you saw yesterday, the whole nonsense ended with a very bad performance or poor performance by a man named Robert Mueller. An incompetent performance, but they say a lot of it started with Ukraine. Whatever you can do, it's very important that you do it if it's possible. So what he is talking about here, CrowdStrike was the company that actually owned the server for the DNC. Reportedly, that server was over in Ukraine. Now, if Trump is able to get access to that server, or somehow, if they can get that server back, maybe is that what they're talking about? I don't know specifically here. I'd have to look into that. But CrowdStrike is the company that actually outsourced by the DNC to check the DNC's computer when the DNC was hacked. Remember when they refused to give the computer over to the FBI, but they gave it to an outsourced company? That was called CrowdStrike. Reportedly, that CrowdStrike server is over there or something. I don't know. I want to know all about that, but I'm going to look into that in my spare time. But this is all about Robert Mueller. This is about Trump trying to find out who hacked the DNC, all this sort of stuff when it comes to this election meddling. This is Trump actually going through and saying, look, Robert Mueller's done a bad job. I know a lot more details about this. It seems to head into your direction of your country. If you want to get rid of corruption, let me know what you know about this and we can work together. That's what it seems like to me, right? I don't think Trump is sitting there saying, oh, we're going to withhold aid or blah, blah. There's no mention of aid in this whole transcript. To me, this is Trump saying, look, we've had this Robert Mueller investigation. He did a bad job, but it seems to point to Ukraine, to a company that might have hacked the DNC, the CrowdStrike server, whatever it may be. Find out what you know, let me know, and we can work together on this sort of stuff, right? So then the Ukraine president responds, yes, it's very important for me and everything that you just mentioned earlier. For me as a president, very important that we open for any future cooperation. We are ready to open a new page in cooperation and relations between the United States and Ukraine. For the purpose, I just recalled our ambassador from the United States, and he will be replaced by a very competent and very experienced ambassador who will work hard on making sure that our two nations get closer. I would also like to hope to see him having your trust and your confidence and your personal relations with you. That sounds so bad, but anyway. Personal relations with you so that we can cooperate even more. I will personally tell you that one of my assistants spoke with Mr. Giuliani just recently, and we're hoping very much that Mr. Giuliani will be able to travel to the Ukraine and we'll be able to meet once he comes to the Ukraine. I just want to assure you that once again that you have nobody but friends around us. I will make sure that I surround myself with the best and the most experienced people. I also want to tell you that we are friends. We are great friends of you, Mr. President. You have friends in our country and we can continue our strategic partnership. I also plan to surround myself with the great people, and in addition to the investigation, I agree as Mr. President of Ukraine that all investigations will be done openly, candidly, and I can assure you that. This is where the left is like, oh shit, we might have a problem here. Because here is a guy saying to the US president that we will be doing an open and candid investigation into CrowdStrike, the server, the DNC, whatever we know about that, and any other further corruption. Right? This is the problem where Joe Biden's son hopefully is on a plane back to the US, because they're going to come after him because of a Joe Biden's son. So what happened with Joe Biden's son was he was paid $50,000 a month to be put on a board of an electrician company or electrical company where he had no experience in this industry, no experience in this field, but his dad was working for Obama at the time. And Obama was giving Joe Biden point men for Ukraine. So you had the dad doing dealings with Ukraine. You had the son who had this business opportunity where he got paid $600,000. There's investigations into money laundering into this company and shonky tax dealings and everything like that. And now you've got the new president of the Ukraine turning around, threatening to do a open and candid investigation into not only that, but also into CrowdStrike, the DNC hacking, whatever it may be. This is bad news for the Democratic Party. Not once has anything on this ever talked about Trump withholding money for financing or because of not threatening them not to do something or whatever it may be. None of that's never been talked about, right? This is just Trump going through and saying, I'm glad you won the election. I'm glad you want to clean up your country. By the way, can you do me a favor and look into these two matters? One of them is CrowdStrike and this sort of stuff. We'll get to the second thing in a bit. But yeah, he's just simply saying, can you do me a favor? Do me a solid. Look into this stuff. I've heard it leads back to your country. It sounds like a typical call that any world leader would have had dealing with another world leader. This call sounds like a typical call that any other president would have done. So this is... Look, I'm not a big believer on the whole 4D chess thing, but if I ever was about to believe it, this would be one of the situations. I'm also going to find... Alright, there it is here. Okay, so I've got this video too. We're going to talk about this... Oops. We're going to talk about this after, because this is relevant. Alright, let's keep going. So President, good, because I heard a prosecutor who was very good and was shut down, and that's really unfair. A lot of people are talking about that. The way they shut down your very good prosecutor down and had some very bad people involved. Mr. Giuliani is highly respected man. He was the mayor of New York City, a great mayor, and I would like him to call you. I'm going to keep going with Trump and then talk about this. I will ask him to call you along with the Attorney General. Rudy very much knows what's happening and he is a very capable guy. If you could speak to him, that would be great. The former ambassador from the United States, a woman, was a bad news, and the people she is dealing with in Ukraine were bad news. So I just want to let you know that. Other thing is, there's a lot of talk about Biden's son, that Biden stopped the prosecution and took a lot of people, and a lot of people want to find out about that. So whatever you can do with the Attorney General would be great. Biden went around bragging that he stopped the prosecution. So if you can look into that, it sounds horrible to me. Right. So we have this video here, and I presume this is going to be dealing with this. So hopefully this will be the right video. So let's jump into this.
Biden, who's tipped to run for the White House in 20 like the
his name has been, how is it possible?
So I just want to get to the point.
Biden's Joe Biden right of it.
The commitment from Poroshenko. The commitment from
He was up to
Poroshenko, they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here, and I think it was, what, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid at the time.
well, just so
Do I need to play that for you again? Biden literally saying you're not going to get your money unless the prosecutor, who, by the way, is looking into his son and the dealings with the company and tax fraud and money laundering and everything else under the sun, unless you fire the prosecutor that's looking into my son, you're not going to get your $1 billion. And like that, the guy is fired. And they replaced him with someone that Biden calls a solid guy. It's really weird that the Democratic side always seems to go on about Trump. For example, now they're going on about Trump withholding funds until someone investigates Biden, right? But the real story here is Biden refusing to hold funds until the prosecutor that was looking into his son gets fired. The left, Biden, has done the exact thing that they are claiming that Trump has done. But instead of talking about that because it's their team, they're trying to project it onto Trump. They're trying to make out that Trump has done the exact same thing. Nothing in this transcript has said that Trump has gone through and has ever threatened to withhold funds. But don't worry, we have a video where Biden has literally admitted to it. But instead, we're going to go through and impeach Trump because of something Biden has done. But let's keep going. President Zelensky, I'm getting his name wrong, from Ukraine. I want to tell you about the prosecutor. First of all, I understand I'm not knowledgeable about the situation. Since we have won the absolute majority in our parliament, the next prosecutor general will be 100% my person, my candidate, who will be approved by the parliament, and it will start as a new prosecutor in September. He or she will look into the situation specifically to the company that you mentioned in this issue. The issue of the investigation of the case is actually the issue of making sure to restore the honor or the honesty so that we take care of that and we'll work with the investigation of the case. On top of that, I would kindly ask if you have any additional information that you can provide to us. It would be very helpful for the investigation to make sure that we administer justice in our country with regard to the ambassador to the United States from Ukraine. As far as I recall, her name was something or other. It was great, but you were the first one who told me that she was a bad ambassador, because I agree with you 100%. Her attitude towards me was far from the best, and she admired the previous president, and she was on his side. She would not accept a new president well enough. And then Trump goes on. Well, she's going to have to go through some things. I will have Mr. Giuliani give you a call. It'll also going to have to General Barr give you a call. We'll get to the bottom of it. I'm sure we'll figure it out. I've heard the prosecutor was treated very badly and he was very fair. Prosecutor, good luck with everything. The economy is going to get better and better, I predict. You have a lot of assets. That's a great country. I have many Ukraine friends. They're incredible people. The Ukraine president said, I would also like to tell you that I also have quite a few Ukraine friends that live in the United States. Actually, last time I traveled to the United States, I stayed in New York near Central Park and stayed at the Trump Tower. I'll also talk to them and hope to see them again in the future. I also wanted to thank you for your invitation to visit the United States, specifically Washington, D.C. On the other hand, I also want to ensure that you will be very serious about the case and will work on an investigation. So he's actually asking Trump to work on the investigation. So he says here, I want to thank you for your invitation to visit the United States, specifically Washington. On the other hand, I also want to ensure you that we will be very serious. Okay, that's fine, yeah. About the case, and we will work on the investigation. As to the economy, there is much potential for our two countries and the issue that is very important for Ukraine and energy independence. I believe that we could be very successful in cooperating on independent and blah, 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 right? And the rest of this is just, we'll work together, have a great day, thank you, Mr. President, thank you, Mr. President, bye. There's, like, thank you very much, happy to come and happy to meet with you personally, I'll get to know you better, looking forward to our meeting. It's just general, you know, wrapping up the call. There's nothing here about withholding aid. It talks about Poland and meeting in Poland, hopefully. It's just Trump, you know, chin-wagging with the rest of the world leaders. This, to me, absolutely vindicates Trump. And this actually implicates Biden. Biden comes out of this looking worse than we actually knew. It sounds like Biden's son isn't going to be in a world of hurt. And it also sounds like the DNC might finally get exposed with this whole CrowdStrike and blah, 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 blah. So I'm actually really hopeful about this. Now, you know, people are claiming that this is not a complete transcript, that this is a memo, that someone was listening and this is their notes, blah, blah, blah. To be honest, look, to me, I think this is... It says here, a memorandum of the telephone conversation. It's not verbatim transcript of a discussion. The text of this document records the notes and recollections of the situation by duty officers from the NSC policy staff assigned to listening and moralizing the conversation written. To me, this sounds like a really detailed Trump call. I think they were writing this all out as they were on the phone listening. And I think the only reason why this is actually written here is in case something was not 100% right. This is more just to cover their own ass. But I think this is a fairly decent transcript of what was actually said. And like I said, this makes the Democrats look really, A, stupid for falling for it, and B, this really does hurt Biden. It really does. Especially if they start threatening to lock up people because of this company that Biden's son was associated with. He was getting paid $600,000 and they're going to be investigated for money laundering? Like, yeah. But guys, yeah, this is the breakdown on the Ukraine situation. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I'm starting to believe 4D chess was real, at least on this one anyway. This really does make them look bad. But let me know what your thoughts are in that comment section below. If this video has been helpful, please smack that like button. If you love my Ukraine accent or my attempt at one, smack that like button too. Don't forget to leave a comment in the description below. Let me know what your thoughts are, feelings are about this sort of stuff. I'm thinking this vindicates Trump. I really, really do. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in that comment section below. Do you think that Trump's going to get indicted? Do you think he's going to be impeached? Do you think that this is a big nothing burger? Do you think this is Russia 2.0? What do you think about CrowdStrike? What do you think about Joe Biden's son and this company in Ukraine being investigated for money laundering? to me, I wouldn't want to be Joe Biden's son, Hunter. I really, really wouldn't. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Apart from that, guys, obviously the video's been helpful. Please smack that like if you're new to the channel. Welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, we will see you in the next demonetised video from YouTube. Have a great day and enjoy.